The Kentucky Wildcats go on the road and spoil senior night for the Missouri Tigers. Big win, one of the most exciting wins of the season. This team's playing good basketball at the perfect time. The Cats are going to be the 6th seed in Nashville for the SEC tournament. We're going to break it all down, talk about the win, talk about kind of what we're looking at within the bracket for the SEC tournament. All that on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. And Carson, you know, those of you Office fans out there, Carson and myself are two of those folks that I love The Office. And one of my favorite kind of, things in The Office is Florida Stanley. You know, Florida Stanley, those of you that have seen that episode, Stanley, of course, is a bit of a grouchy old man, and but not in Florida. Not in Florida. In Florida, he is not. And I think that it could easily be described. You could describe us as Nashville Carson and Nashville Andrew, because we really enjoy that city. So, Carson, I mean, what are you doing to get prepared for this weekend? You got any are you drinking a lot of water? What's the plan?
Yeah, definitely increasing water intake to a maximum, and kind of limiting my sauna usage this week too. Trying not to dehydrate myself because, this is a war. This is not just
it's not a battle. It's 3 separate battles for one war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, we got a whole weekend. Thank goodness that we don't play on Wednesday, so we don't have to worry about Wednesday. But it's going to be a lot for the Cats fans and probably for all of our livers.
Yeah. Oh, precisely. A lot of Sprites will get after your liver. I'll tell you that. That was one of my favorite games of the year. I mean, the way it started, we were watching the game, and the way it started, I mean, it just felt like, oh, goodness gracious. I mean, we couldn't hit water if we fell out of a helicopter over top of the Atlantic. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, the offense, I haven't seen the offense look like that all season. That was the worst offense in a, probably 7-8 minute span the whole season. Figure it out, start to get stops, and the Cats win this one 91-83. Otega Owe does Otega Owe things, scoring 22 points. But I think the star, and there's a reason he's down in the star of the game corner, player of the game corner, was Andrew Carr. I mean, Carson, 16 points, 12 rebounds, 5 of 8 shooting, 2 of 3 from deep, 12 boards, like I said, 3 assists, a steal, 2 blocks, turned it over 1 time. He goes 4-6 at the free throw line. What more could you ask for Andrew Carr in this game?
No. I mean, that, in my opinion, that was the best game Andrew Carr's probably played all season, and definitely in this the new year, especially. But Andrew Carr is starting to look physical, starting to show the flashes that we saw against Duke and Gonzaga. And I think just most of that was him getting fully healthy. I mean, you saw him intercept breakaway passes. Like he just looks way more fluid. He just looks like he's back to himself, which is great to see and huge for us come March.
He just looks great out there. He looks like he's gotten back to himself. I mean, he's getting rebounds. I mean, because that was the biggest thing I noticed. I mean, he was still doing some stuff offensively when he was doing his back injury, but the rebound production was low. He's starting to get back on the boards. I mean, 3 assists, couple blocks, a steal, only turning it over once, scoring 16 points. You get this Andrew Carr, even without Jackson Robinson, this Kentucky team is scary. So loved seeing that. And then, I mean, Kobe Bryant, let's pull up his last 5 games. I mean, he's hot. He's getting to the point where it's starting to become kind of, I mean, he's had a couple, 29, 21, 6, 17. I mean, if you average that out.
Could it be warranted to yell shoot as soon as he crosses the half court line? Could that be warranted?
I think you might want to see what happens. Pull that out in Nashville this week. I mean, maybe. I don't think it could hurt. I mean, but it's just sometimes he will shoot. At the beginning of the year, he'd shoot shots where I went, oh, goodness. And then it goes in, you go, oh, okay, I'll shut up. And now it's the point where there's no shot where I go, oh, gosh, come on, man. That has not been uttered by me once when Kobe Bryant lets the ball fly over the last two and a half months.
No.
I mean, he's just a sniper. I mean, Chris Kyle from deep. He's insane. Colin Chandler, Carson Nash. Colin Chandler. I mean, I think I saw people on Twitter before the game saying, like, if Colin Chandler can become 40% of Jackson Robinson, and I think he played like 60% of Jackson Robinson, and his defense is better. If he starts giving you 8 to 10 points a game, I'm telling you, watch out for the Cats in a few weeks here.
I'm stoked. I'm a huge Colin Chandler guy. I think Colin Chandler's the real deal. My biggest takeaway is not only his confidence offensively now, which is awesome, but how about the way he defended Caleb Grill? I mean, that to me was just unreal. The way he defended in the game on Saturday is something this Kentucky team doesn't have a lot of. So him being able to do that is massive, massive for us.
I mean, I love that you use the word confidence on offense. I mean, he looks confident out there shooting the rock. He looks confident, and that's what he was lacking
before half. That was awesome.
I mean, he looks like he believes in himself shooting the ball. He was a pretty good defender even during the offensive struggles. The issue for him was not shooting. Was not defense. It was the shooting. And so now if you're able to mix in a little bit of defense or a little bit of shooting with the defense he plays, Colin Chandler can help this team a lot in the month of March. And I'll tell you what, my confidence in him being a great player down the road is back. I believe he can be a 10, 11 point player, a point per game type of guy for us down the road. So loved to see that. Want to bring up something that is unrelated to this, but kind of is. How is Lamont Butler not on the SEC all defensive team, whatever? How? I won't do the whole Zakai Ziegler. We've done it enough. We've
Seth Greenberg.
You good put Seth Greenberg. Damn you, Seth Greenberg. I know it was his fault. But seriously, I mean, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to me that Lamont Butler's not. I know he's missed some games. I don't give a flying crap. He is the best on-ball defender, I think, in college basketball. And
you can just tell when he's on the court and when he's not on the court. That's like how big of an impact he has. Like if he's not on the court, he's not on the court.
You know how they should have decided Now, although I would say maybe not SEC Defensive Player of the Year, but they gave it to freaking Ziegler. Ziegler's not a bit of Ziegler. I heard someone describing Zakai Ziegler, and I think the best way to describe him, the steal numbers are high, no question, and all that. But how many times did he get burned? What are those numbers?
How many times does he just get shot straight over? I mean,
there's issues. People look at defense. This makes me mad. Some of the best, Vita Vea, I think, is one of the better defensive linemen in all the NFL. And, I mean, you look at his stats, he has 8 tackles in the whole year because he does his job. Not everything shows up in the stat sheet. Zakai Ziegler is a defensive stats merchant, not eyeball tests, not the things that matter.
It takes the right guard, left guard, and center to all move Vita Vea.
Seriously, yeah. Okay, so I don't even know how to spell. I don't even know how to spell. Oh, I figured it out. Okay, I know spell. Zakai Ziegler, and Zakai Ziegler, he's a great passer. I mean, he's 5th in college basketball, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not trying to fully knock the kid offensively, but I mean, 1.8 steals per game. It's great. He gets a lot of steals. But you're telling me, I want whoever voted for this, and I don't know who it was. I'm going to look you, whoever voted for this, in the eye right now, and you look at me and you tell me that Zakai Ziegler, no disrespect, he's 5'9". You're telling me he is a better defender than Lamont Butler. Bullshit. Bullshit. I won't take that for a second. Yes, maybe he gets more steals. Cool. But you're telling me he's a better defender than Lamont Butler. Bull. I won't triple down on it. Bull crap. I'm not buying it for a second. Do you want to add on to this? Am I being?
You couldn't give me $100 million to take Zakai Ziegler instead of Lamont Butler.
Yeah. And I mean, this is not disrespect to Zakai Ziegler. I agree he's a solid defender, especially for his size, but he's not better than Lamont Butler. That's where I draw the line. It's simple as that. I mean, this bothers me a lot because there's
kids at La Rosa Park Elementary School in 3rd grade that are taller than Zakai and could shoot over him.
Well, that is true. But I don't know. And I know there's players that we knock a lot on here, and Wade Taylor. They're good basketball players. I mean, these are Division I SEC basketball. They're great players, but I think some of them are overrated. And I think Zakai's defense is strictly based on the numbers. And I believe it was a coach I heard talk about this, like a former coach and I forget what it was. I saw it somewhere, but yes, Zakai Ziegler's defensive stats, like steals and all that, the numbers are good. But when you watch his actual defending, I mean, he's not, and I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm saying he's not better than Lamont Butler. I don't want to sit here and people say Zakai Zuko's not Andrew Stefaniak said Zakai Zuko was a terrible defender. It's not what I said. What I said is he's not better than Lamont Butler. It's simple as that. That's just the reality. So that's my rant on that for the day. I just that I saw that before we recorded, and I was PO'd. All 9 levels PO'd. So any other thoughts on this Missouri game, Carson? I'll have a few more.
Yeah. Well, what did you think about them doing senior night after the game?
I didn't even know if they did. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they did senior night. What do you think about that? What do you think about teams doing senior nights after the games?
I think it's. I mean, no one wants to go do that when you lose. You want to go out there with your mom and dad and your family and your siblings and your girlfriends, and you want to go out there and you want to do senior night. No, I think that's not cool for the players. You know what I mean? I mean,
I agree.
When it's fun if they win. If you're playing LSU, I'm all for it. If you want to do it after the game, that's fine. But I mean, like Mark Sears, I saw a video of this. They did his senior night when they lost the game to who did they lose to on Tuesday? Florida. Mm-hmm. And they did the senior night, and Mark Sears and all the Alabama fans were all angry and left. And I mean, he got no kind of senior night thing. I think you should do it before the game. That's my take on it. But
I agree. I just wanted to hear what you thought on that. I thought that was weird. I don't know. I feel like that's a new thing that people are starting to do it afterwards.
I didn't even know that they did it. I know Bama didn't even saw that video, but
I didn't know. I was confused by that. But I also wanted to mention, well, as much as Andrew Carr played great, Josh Gray did put him in the basket like me and you on a 8-foot goal. But that was a rough one. But I mean, I thought our bigs played really well. I mean, if you can get that production out of our bigs every night in and night out, you're going to take that. And I think the consistency of Amari Williams with the healthy version of Andrew Carr is going to be huge for us in the NCAA tournament, the SEC tournament.
I mean, and I said this, and we both said this, Carson, but a month ago probably, and it was mid-February, kind of right when Amari started to really play well. We said maybe these injuries to Jackson and Lamont and Carr's back can pay off dividends in the long run because of how much better Amari Williams has been playing. And I stand by that because now you have Kobe Bryant playing great. You have Andrew Carr playing great. You have Lamont Butler back playing great. And you have Amari Williams playing elite level basketball. And obviously we know Tagovailoa always plays great because he always does. But I mean, it's just your starters are playing great right now. And I mean, you got Noah coming off the bench and making some shots and all that. So it's just, I'm really impressed with the way this team kind of come together. I've been very, very happy with it. And I think they're playing. I'm serious. And some might say, well, it's LSU. And you can't take away the win over Missouri on the road. But I'm saying, those that say, well, you've won, 2 games in a row where you've looked good. Momentum can come from anywhere. And they've got it right now. So I tell you what, I have a lot of confidence in this team going into postseason. I really do. That I was not expecting to have kind of after the Auburn game and the Jackson Robinson news. And I didn't have a ton of confidence. And I have it now. I have it all in Groves now. Groves, whatever that's saying.
And I feel like the confidence is warranted because the last 8 games we've been a top 20 defensive efficiency team. So I mean, that's huge. If we're going to get that type of defense with our top 5 offense that we have, then you start to really think like, wait, what can happen here? So I think the continuity of getting these players back healthy allows us to be a better defensive unit as a team as a whole, because with injuries and players not being able to play all the time, like the talking and the chemistry, it becomes a lot harder on defense to be a good defensive team when you don't have that. So having that now and keep riding that out and become better, I mean, sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah, I'm with you. I wrote an article today on my website, Kentucky Wildcats on SI, titled Kentucky, Ken Palm is falling in love with Kentucky at the perfect time. And they are. I mean, we are up to, I've seen us at like 17, 18, 19, pretty, over the last month. That's where we've been sitting in Ken Palm. We're up to 11 not because of the offense, because of the defense. The defense was in the high 120s at one point. We're up to 55. And you might say, well, 55 is not great. No, it's not, but it's not 128. We went into March last year outside the top 100 in defense.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
We're making steps in the right direction because Lamont and Amari and Carr, they're all getting healthy. And Chandler's playing great defense. This Kentucky team, and I know it's a 2-game sample size of playing great, but if you go and you beat, we'll talk about the tournament, you win a game, you win 2 in Nashville, and you're a 3 seed, I think you go into the big dance feeling darn good about yourself.
Yeah. How did you feel about minute dispersion on Saturday? It looked a bit different in the box score.
It's a
lot of guys playing a lot of minutes.
Yeah. And I mean, Coach Pope, I think Almanor is slowly getting less and less minutes. We've seen that.
Well, I don't think correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Travis or Trent played in the second half.
That'd be interesting. I'd have to pull up the other stats. I don't know how to check that, but I can here in a minute. But
because I mean,
half by half.
Colin has the most points off the bench with 16,
and
you mean minutes? Carr with 34, Kobe with 37, Amari with 29, and then Ortega with 28. Those are all high for them. So I do like that with Pope kind of tightening the rotation a little bit, giving your star guys uppers of I'd say 32 plus is smart to play Lamont, Amari, and I don't know if Andrew Carr, if he's healthy, I would play him 34 minutes, but if he's still dealing with that, I wouldn't. So to me, I like this rotation, cutting some guys' minutes down and boosting the others that have been successful.
I think sometimes coaches get a little too cute with I'm going to play my guys 22 minutes. So, and Pope's done that before. I mean, if you look at Pope's numbers at BYU last year, that's one thing. And even when we talked about hiring, hiring Mark Pope, one of the issues was, I don't know, like the minutes. I mean, about the minutes thing, it's just a little weird. Play your studs. Fantasy football, play your studs. Don't overthink it. And I think that he's going to do that in the month of March. They're Division I, they're conditioned enough to play 34 minutes of basketball. And you got to remember, now I'm not saying it's easy. I couldn't go out there and play 34 minutes of a basketball game right now. I couldn't do it. No shot in hell. But these guys are getting those breaks, those timeouts, the commercials. There's halftime. It's not like they're out there for 34 minutes playing. So what I'm saying is they're conditioned enough to be able to play 34 minutes of basketball. And they've proven that. So I'm roll with it. I mean, I love Ainsley, and he's a fan favorite, and he's a great shooter and all that, but he has had his struggles on defense. I mean, if you can keep Carr out there for 34 minutes, keep him out there for 34 minutes. I'm all for that. So, I mean, I'm with you. So, any other thoughts on this? We'll talk about the SC tournament just for a little bit. We'll explain why. But
I just wanted to do a quick wrap up because, I mean, it was the last regular season game. What a hell of a season, honestly, in Pope's first season. I mean, you win 8 top 15 games. You tie Duke and Indiana as the only 2 other teams to do that. So in the first season, when you only had a month or 3 months to come up with a roster, I mean, it's pretty remarkable what he was able to accomplish. So kudos to him. It was a great feel-good year too, because the players let you believe in Kentucky basketball again, the way they loved it and the way we do love it. So what an awesome season, and hopefully we can make some magic happen in March.
Yeah, and I believe that we have a shot to. I'm proud of this team, and I'm proud of our coach. I mean, they fought through adversity, injuries, an incredibly difficult schedule, and they've made. And I mean, I'm proud to finish 10-8 in this conference. The way it was looking with the injuries, there was a point in time where it was not looking great for us to finish over 500,
which I now owe Andrew a beer for, by the way.
Boom! I forgot about that. Although, hold on. We might. I owe you. No, beers cancel out.
Why?
Because remember we bet on the 3-pointers made?
Oh, yeah.
They made 22 between the 2 teams.
Go.
So no beers. Nope. Beer cancel out. They made
22. No, you buy me a beer, I'll buy you a beer.
Okay.
So we each have
I'm buying you a beer. I'm not buying you $18 bourbon and Coke to my $10 beer. I can promise you that. That's happening. So the bracket is out for the SEC tournament. I'll run through. We're going to do after our opponent, either Wednesday night, it'd be late, or Thursday morning, we're going to throw up a little preview for the game. Thursday night, we play at 9:30 Eastern. It'll be 8:30 Nashville time for those going. And leave in the comments if you're going to be down in Nashville. Let us know. So we play the winner of Oklahoma, the 14 seed Oklahoma and the 11 seed Georgia. We're the 6 seed. If we win Thursday, we play Bama. That's confirmed. We play Bama on Friday. I like it, unless you have to Mike spiel about beating the team 3 times, because he'll tell you that's because it is a real thing, and I like our. I know Bama just beat Auburn in Auburn and all that, and they're playing good basketball. Even at loss to Florida, I thought they did some good stuff. But I'm just telling you, I like that we're playing them.
Bama coming off an emotional high win.
Yeah,
us having lost to them twice already this season. I like it.
I think we owe them one. I do. Mm-hmm. And that's why I want to go on the full revenge tour. And now the problem is we could only do it to the Final Four, the semis, because if you beat. I'd rather play Georgia than Oklahoma. I don't know why that is. Georgia, I think they had a pretty good week. I know they beat Vandy on Saturday. I don't know what they did on.
Yeah, Georgia beat Oklahoma already this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I want to see what they did earlier in the week. So yeah, they're 8-10 in conference play. They beat Vandy and South Carolina this week, so it wasn't like the most crazy difficult week ever this week. But I mean,
might be the easiest week in SEC history this year.
Yeah, and they've got some good. They got Ace and Newell's a good player, man. I'll say that. But I'd rather play Georgia. I just think we owe them one. That loss to them. You and I said it here, Carson. I want them again. Darn it.
Yeah,
I want them again. I want
that was. I think going back on the whole entire season, I think that was probably that and the Ohio State game were like the worst 2 games we played.
Yeah, maybe Arkansas was pretty.
Arkansas was a bad game, but I thought that was more of DJ actually playing like the number 1 overall recruit that he was supposed to be.
Yeah,
and them actually playing good.
So, yeah, I think I like our seat. So we're not going to go too into depth on that for a second, because once again, we're going to either Wednesday night, and Mike said he wants to, so we'll let Mike come and join and talk about that.
Heck yeah.
He enjoys being on here and shooting the crap on ball. But yeah, so Carson, Dirty Mike, and I will break down the tournament either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. So that'll be once we know kind of who's moved on. Once we're to so that'll be like once we're to Thursday. We'll break down our matchup and talk about best paths and all that. I think we got an incredible draw. Of the Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, I'd have rather played Tennessee or Bama. I'd rather play Bama just because I'm serious, and I know we match well with Tennessee, but you beat them twice. We beat.
Yeah,
I like the way I like the way this ended up, Carson.
I do too. I do too. And like I said, coming off an emotional high against your rival, winning at the buzzer. I mean, and they beat us twice. We haven't played very good against them. They've played really good against us both times. I like this draw. I wanted to give them some revenge anyway. So I like this draw that we got.
I want to beat Georgia, beat Bama.
Yeah.
If we could play on Saturday, I mean, that down there, that'd be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
A ton of fun. So, and I think I tell you, Carson, I have 2 questions for you, and I'll give them both, and you can answer them, and then we'll because we don't have any score prediction or anything today. We don't know who we play. But I wrote an article, another one. I graded Pope's first regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what you would give Pope for his a grade for just the obviously the rate, and you can add in the putting their roster together. Grade him from when he got here to the end of the regular season. Give him a grade, and then I had another question for you. Oh, how many do you think if we win one game in Nashville we lock up a 3 seed, or do you think we have it locked up anyway? Answer those 2 questions for me.
Okay, I'll start with your first one. I would grade Pope right now. I would give him an A to A minus. I would give him more of an A. I would favor him to the A side because of the injuries and what he's dealt with.
I give him an A as well.
Yeah. So I mean, like we said, you only had a certain amount of time to get this roster even ready to start the season. You didn't get them on campus until later on, the strength and conditioning program. It didn't really start off fast because you didn't have time. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm giving him an A. Just the way he makes second half adjustments. I mean, how many games did we watch where we were down at halftime and we came storming back and ended up winning, and won in crucial situations too? Like how many games Gonzaga, Duke, Oklahoma, I mean, just to name a couple that we've won in big games because of his coaching. So yeah, I'm giving Mark Pope an A, and I honestly thought it was blasphemy that he got left off the Coach of the Year.
I don't even want to get into that because I'll get angry again. It's just stupid. and the fact that you have the Purdue, what's the Purdue painters
Yeah.
on there. So like I get it. Like there's some, I think should Golden and Pearl and like some of those guys have been above them. I give you that, but
Yeah.
Painter, you're not talking me into Matt. I was there's a few coaches. I didn't think he was going to win, but the fact that he was on that list was another bull crap thing. Not as much bull crap as Ziegler over Butler, but and then what do you think? Do we have to win one game to lock up a 3 seed, 2 games, or do you think we've already locked it up?
I think we could have already locked it up. I think depending on the teams, what goes on, even if we lose, I think we could still get one. But I think if you win a game, for sure you're locked at a 3.
I'd rather win one. Win one. Lock
Don't mess around and lose.
And then make it interesting, because I think that difference from 3 to 4 seed is such a big deal. Lock this.
And we've seen it in the past. They would love to give us a 4 seed and put us in the region with Duke. So don't give them the reason to do that.
Yeah. So lock this thing up, win that game on Thursday against Oklahoma or Georgia, and lock it up. So, all right, Carson, any other thoughts before we get out of here?
That's all I got. A countdown.
I need that on my phone. Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing my Tommy Bahama hat, which if you look inside of here, it's got a margarita recipe.
Oh, no.
That is that's the vibes this week here on the Wildcats Today podcast. I want everyone to know and prepare. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate that. We're trying the road to 3,000 step by step, 100 by 100. We're going to get there, so we really appreciate that. Hit that like button. That helps us out a lot as well. And yeah, either late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning, you'll have a preview for the game against Georgia or Oklahoma. So be ready for that. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Monday. Big week of basketball coming up. It's March, and we'll see you next time right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.